Patrick Hardison was a fireman who became a hero when he risked his life to save people in danger. 22 years later, the social media and media sensation was living a full life and became a grandfather to several grandchildren. On May 1st, 2022, Hardison, the heroic volunteer firefighter, took to his Facebook account to share an update on his current life. He uploaded a picture of himself sitting comfortably on a rocking chair while he cradled 2 infants in each arm. The fireman also had an older girl standing between his legs, and he held her hand as she smiled. The trio seemed to be his grandchildren, and their image was taken on the front porch of a house with another empty rocking chair. Hardison appeared healthy and happy as he posed wearing sunglasses and a cap, probably part of a habit he'd built over the years to conceal his face and identity. On April 4th, 2023, he shared another family picture, but this time he carried one of his grandchildren while standing around with other members. In front of the group was a baby sitting in front of a cake, and it seemed the family was there to celebrate the child's birthday. The firefighter was dressed the same as in the other photo and appeared to be a doting grandfather as seen on March 9th, 2022. In the image, he lovingly cradled what appeared to be his newborn grandchild, who seemed to connect with him as he looked right in his direction. Hardison, whose face burned years ago while he tried to save people from a fire, seemed to have gotten treatment and was no longer disfigured, judging by the photo. It was evident from how he looked that he loved spending time with his family and adoring his grandchildren. In 2016, it was revealed that the firefighter was then 42, should be around 49 or 50 in 2023, and was a parent to 5 children. In 2015, the Senatobia, Mississippi resident's face was still severely disfigured, and he couldn't do things other people took for granted. However, a year later, he could drive his children to school, swim, blink his eyes, and run his fingers through his hair. Hardison could now walk amongst strangers without being stared at and pointed at. Strangers' children also didn't run away scared and crying because his face frightened them, and he'd hated his life over 20 years ago because of the tragic incident that caused it. What happened to Pat's face that caused it to be disfigured? In 2001, Hardison responded to a house fire where he suffered extensive facial burns while trying to save the inhabitants. His lips, hair, ears, eyelids, and most of his nose were lost to the fire, and he hid his scars from the world with sunglasses and baseball caps. The firefighter admitted to hating his hard life after the fire. However, he said he never gave up on life because he wanted to be an example to others, to show them that life was possible after experiencing an injury. The grandfather said he was proud to share his story with other injured first responders, firefighters, and Army people. He hoped to share what happened to him, to help at least one person to look into face transplants, then it was worth it, adding, "I have hope now, and I want to help those that are injured know that there is hope for them too." Over 100 medical professionals and surgeons were led by Dr. Eduardo Rodriguez to perform the historic procedure on Hardison at New York University Langone Medical Center. More than 20 people have gotten partial or complete transplants since 2005 worldwide. Rodriguez's team used David Rodebaugh's face to reconstruct the volunteer firefighters. Rodebaugh, 26, was a bike mechanic in Brooklyn who donated his organs after dying from a bicycle accident, and it took 12 hours for the face transplant to Hardison. The doctor gave the fireman a new scalp, ear canals, ears, and some bone portions from the cheeks, chin, and entire nose. He was given muscles that controlled the ability to blink and new eyelids, a first in transplant surgery. Hardison confessed that it was the first time in 15 years that he could do it. The father of 5 said his vision was pretty good, but the loss of his eyelids lessened it, and he only had pinholes to see through. Getting the transplant made life easier for the hero, who had to undergo several procedures to make him look as normal as possible. Hardison's medical team was surprised by how his body didn't undergo an acute rejection episode. In 2016, his new eyelids were working normally, with Rodriguez noting that vision was one of the most remarkable aspects of the procedure. The doctor said the patient also had a very strong resemblance between his hair color, new face, and his children's. Rodriguez shared how the volunteer firefighter had the face he was born with, the one after the injury, and the one he lives with now. The hero had to endure 4 follow-ups, removing a feeding tube from his stomach, adjusting his new lips and eyelids, and removing his breathing tube. One of the highlights of having a new face was that he could swim in the pool during a Disney World family outing. The father of 5 confessed that it was the first time in 15 years that he could do it. The volunteer firefighter explained how he was pretty normal and did everyday things, saying he was the same man as before, but noted how that didn't give enough credit to the incredible journey he'd been through. The hero said his life was great, adding, "I'm happy and my kids are all healthy, so what more could you ask for?" Hardison was living a wholesome love, surrounded by the love and care of his children and grandchildren.